All right, welcome back everyone. In this lesson, we're going to take you through creating install prompts with banners and with pop-ups. And Bildr comes with pre-built templates for you to get started with. So let's begin by dropping one of those templates onto our canvas here. So I'll go to Page, Insert Page, and search for PWA. Let's start with the prompt pop-up. I'm just going to drag this right here onto my canvas. And we can see exactly what this pop-up is going to look like. What we want to do is pop this pop-up open whenever the user visits the home page. So on the home page, let's add a spot where we can open our new pop-up into. So I'll add a new element. I'm going to use a div. I'm just going to drop it right at the top above my outer. And I'll just call this pop-up container. And then what we need to do is make a flow that opens that page into that container. So we'll make a new flow, and I'll call it install prompt open pop-up. We'll add one action to it, which is an open page action. And the page we're going to open is our install prompt pop-up, and we'll open it into our pop-up container. So now anytime this flow runs, we'll be opening this pop-up. Now we only want to open this pop-up if the user is not in the installed version of the app. So there's one other place in our PWA settings that we didn't look at earlier. We'll go back into our PWA settings and go to this install prompt flow area. An install prompt flow allows you to select a flow to run to do things like open a pop-up. So we'll select our page, which is our home page, and then we'll select our flow to run, which is that one we created just a moment ago, the install prompt open pop-up. Now by default, we're also preventing the browser's default install banner, because we don't really want both, right? We don't want the browser's banner, like on Android, there will be a little banner at the bottom. And instead of that, we want to open our own pop-up. So by default, this is going to be toggled on, but if you'd like both, you can toggle that off if you choose to. And then last step, we'll create our install prompt page header. And that's it. So now if we go back to our preview and go to our home page, it'll pop up. On desktop browsers, it's going to say click to install. On iOS devices, it's actually going to provide instructions for the user on how they need to install it, because iPhones and iPads do not have automatic install buttons like Android devices do. If you want to see how those pieces are handled, you can actually go into the install prompt pop-up page and check out the logic that's used to know which device it's on. All right, so the only other thing we might want to do here is change out our app name and our URL. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Let's change these things out. Put Listly and our URL, and then I'll swap out the icon as well. All right, so now we've customized our pop-up just for our app. Now you can do other things before popping it up. So in the flow, where we had the install prompt, rather than just opening this page immediately, we could run some logic checks here as well to see if the user has performed other functions inside of our app before popping it up and prompting them. Rather than doing it immediately, you can choose when and where to do it. And sometimes a pop-up is just way too much. Maybe we want to use a banner instead. So let's try swapping that out. Just going to drag this down a bit, make some room for a banner. We're going to go back up to Page and Insert Page, and again search for PWA. But this time, I'm going to drag the banner onto my canvas. We'll drop it right here. So this banner is already set up to work on mobile and desktop, just like all of these templates are. And the only thing we actually have to change here, because we've already set everything up, is in our flow on the install prompt pop-up, instead of opening the pop-up, we're going to choose to open the banner. So I'll change this name to banner as well, just to keep it consistent. Now, if we go preview again, instead of opening a pop-up, you'll see we have a banner. The install button on both the banner and the pop-up work just like it did on the install page, so it's going to allow the user to install it on their device. You can change the styling of the banner, you can change the labels, just like on all the other templates. So if you want it at the bottom or the top, no problem, just change the styling to get that done. You can change out the color scheme, anything you want. All right, and that's it for creating PWAs with Bildr. Thanks a lot for watching, and happy building.